So a lot of young people are leaving secondary school at the moment. If many of them have just finished writing their WAEC, and some of them who registered for NECO, that's our Nigerian SS3 or final year exam, are going to be writing very soon. And a lot of them have written JAMB and are very eager to get into the higher institution. And now, this is what I think from experience, from my conversation with people who have gone ahead, and of course, from the young people in my community. If you are a young person that just finished writing WAEC and you know that you don't have nobody to train you, don't have nobody who has the ability to train you financially, and I mean your father and your mother. Your father or your mother or your parents are not very capable financially to train you. I would suggest that you learn a skill, yes, before you get into the higher institution. Particularly if you have written jump and you are waiting to get into school. Now, there are two things that can happen. You are either faced between going to learn a skill or working. By the way, why do you need to learn a skill? You need to learn a skill because your parents are not very capable. And if you are able to have something doing that can earn you some money, it will help you better. It will help you earn while you are in school, particularly if you're not a business person, if you know that you are not so good with running around and buying and selling, but you're good with selling your services, kind of. You're not good with selling goods, but you're good with selling services. Yes, so learning a skill will be best for you. Now, don't depend on that uncle. Don't depend on that auntie. Don't depend on that organization. Are they going to help you? Yes, if they want to help you, they will help you. But you're not going to put all your hope on them. They are not You are not their sole responsibility. You need to understand that. You are your parents' responsibility. Now, when you know that your parents are not capable, you don't have a father, you don't have a mother, or you don't have a father, but you have a mother who is struggling to raise you alongside other people, the best thing to do is not to rush into school. Get a skill and learn a skill that will help you earn while you're in school, a skill that you will use on other students, that will make other students require your services and pay you for your services. Exactly. That is what you need. With that skill, you can save up. You can, even when people give you school fees or give you little or whatever they have, you are able to sustain yourself. I'm telling you, this is what you need. I work with a lot with young people, and I know what I'm telling you. And if you're also maybe you're considering getting a job while in school, of course, I'm going to talk about that. Well, I'm going to tell you the pros and the cons. Okay, so if you're asking, I am in between, should I do skills or should I work and save money to go to school? And I mean, these things are real, and I'm going to tell you how real they are. They are so real because you need the money. You need the money. So let's say that your father is late or your father is not doing so well. Your mother has a small business. Your mother has other siblings. Maybe your mother is not even doing so well, and you know that where you're coming from, people cannot pay the bills for the university, but you already bought jump and you want to go to university, and now you are hoping to work to save money for the university. Now, this is a great idea. I can tell you, saving up money to go to the university is a great idea, working. But I want to ask you a question, two questions maybe. Number one, how sure are you that you will not spend that money before the time for paying your school fees or your acceptance fee comes? You see, now, when it comes to families struggling with at least the basic needs, all they need is not money. Money must seem like what solves their initial problems or their immediate problem, but money does not solve the problem for them. Do you know why? So you are going to be getting a job that pays you maybe 30,000 naira, 30,000 that pays you 40,000 because, of course, you don't have any certificate. You just finished writing WIEC, and you are maybe the first daughter of your family, and your mother is going to be asking you for support as soon as she sees that you're working. Mm-hmm. Maybe somebody, your sibling is still in school, and you might need to support your sibling. Now you're going to need to buy cream. You're going to want to look like a big girl or a big boy from that money. Sometimes you are even so disciplined that you're not doing any of these things, and you still want to save up, or you are still saving up money. Or something can come up and the money can be used. In fact, your parents can borrow the money from you and never return it. Your mom can borrow that money and never return it. Now, is money important? Money is definitely very important for you at this stage. But I think that you paying the price of going to learn a skill is more valuable. Yes. So because your money that you are not investing, that is just there in your account, anything can happen to it. And when that money goes, it has gone. But your skill that you have learned is going to be with you. I remember that there are some skills I learned when I was in my year one in school. In fact, it was Pastor David, my mentor, who organized that training. I still have it. I still have that skill. I still have some of all that skills I learned in those days. I still have them inside of me, and I still use them when I want to. So you see, those skills are going to pay more. That skill you're going to learn that you might not be earning. In fact, you might need to pay. You might need to pay to learn that skill. That's another thing. You don't have the money, but do you know that there is always one person who's willing to teach you that skill for free because they want to impact the next person? I can tell you, if you don't know how, please reach out to me. I will help you do that. So there's always one person. If you pray, if you're really, really interested in learning a skill and you don't have the money and you trust God to bring a person who will teach you this skill, to connect you to someone who is willing to even help you pay, God always does it. I'm telling you. Now, when you learn the skill, number one, you have the skill. Even if you don't intend to use the skill for a lifetime, you can use it for the time when you need it, the time you're in school. So you learn how to make hair, you learn how to wig hair, you learned how to ventilate hair, you learned how to make how to make people up, you learned how to do beadwork, you learned how to do bridal things. These things, they look like very minor things, but they are going to serve you. And these skills are skills that might not necessarily need you to have equipment to start, like making of hair, like wigging of hair. You don't need to open a shop or have any site where you're doing them to be able to do them. Do you understand? So these are things that people, you can go to people's hostel rooms. You can go to people's houses in school, and people can come to your room and you make their hair and they pay you. You see why it is important. Now, if you learn the skill, another thing is that you can improve on it in the future. There's something I said in 2021 during our skill to earn that I did for my initiative some years ago. And I said that one of the things I learned in my years of being in school and now coming out of school, I left school 2016. I left the university 2016. One of the things I learned is that anything you start in school, anything you start as an undergraduate and continue it after school, it is easy for you to grow your audience. It is easy because you have already had your audience from school. So you are not growing from the scratch per se. People already know that this thing is what you are into. So they are willing to patronize you. They are willing to even invest in you. They are willing to, like, they know your growth, your story. They know your growth story. So they are not afraid of how did you jump into this. So it is easier per se. So I said that to say that if you start learning, if you learn that skill and start using it in school, there are two options. It's not a do or die affair. It is either you are improving on that skill as you are in school. You're going, as a student, you're going to have many opportunities to improve on that skill. I can tell you. So you can choose to improve on that skill. Do you understand? Number two, you can choose to say, I don't want the skill. I want to diversify. I want to transit and all that. But the important thing is that you have that skill and you have, even if you don't use it, you have an idea of it and it might even come up in the future and you might use it. Now, if you're asking me favor, how about I work as an undergraduate, just do an office work just to build my CV because I want to be a career person. I don't want to be an entrepreneur or any of those things. Well, that's fantastic. So for me, as an individual, I worked while I was in school, and a bit of the thing I was doing in school is still what I do now. I was doing childcare while I was in school, so I worked as a nanny and as a cleaner for families during my undergraduate days. Now, I worked for only two families basically. One of the families had me for a very long time, and after some time, I paused. I got another place, and after some time, the family called me back again because their sister that came over had gone and they needed my services again. So I went back, and I can tell you that that job, that childcare, I did childcare for a long time after I left school, and I still do a bit of childcare now in a professional way, and I still offer like childcare services to people by helping them get nannies. Now, do you understand that I haven't left that field completely? And now my initiative also, I now run a non-governmental organization, which is all around all those things I have been doing. I've been passionate about childcare anyway. So I'm saying this to say that I worked, yes. And why did I work was because I didn't have a skill per se. I didn't have a skill per se because I couldn't even learn a skill. I didn't know all these things while I was in school. But of course, I did this and I was able to use it after school. So, yes, if you know that you know that what you want to do is work while you are a student. I want to also tell that it might not be very easy because the times might be clashing. Your pay might not be as much as what you're going to get if you were offering your own personal skills as services to people. Do you understand? It has its own pros and its own cons. So I also need to tell you that while I was doing that work as an undergraduate in school, I did it on weekends. It was extremely stressful. I can tell you, I spent my whole Saturdays doing that work. Sometimes I came back with my hands peeled off. It was stressful, but the relationships I built are just priceless. I can tell you, they are priceless. So you have to now know what you want. What are your capabilities? What are the privileges you have at the moment? What are the opportunities you can leverage on. So if you know that working works best for you, it means that you're also preparing that you are going to save this money. You're going to discipline yourself to save this money, number one. And number two, you are also hoping that you are going to be working as a student. It not go easy you, but you can do it. Do you get? What if you don't get the job? Another thing. What if you don't get a job? Of course, if you believe, you will. If you're consistent, you will. And skills, I will always advise that you learn a skill. I will advise that you learn a skill because skills are very, very priceless. You don't throw them away. They stay right with you. Okay, so this is where I'm going to end. Remember that you don't start planning to go to university depending on people's pockets, depending on one uncle, one auntie, because anything can happen to anybody. I can tell you, anything can happen to anybody. The only person you have the right to depend on is your father and your mother. Even your father and your mother, you can't solely depend on them because they are just channels. Your dependency is on God. You depend on God, who is the source of all things. So when you depend on God, God directs you on the right steps to take. So go to God in prayer. Know what would God have me to work? Because yes, if God wants you to work, He orchestrates your steps to get to the right workplace, which will be very, very vital for what you're going to do while you're in school. And number two, if God wants you to learn a skill and you're saying, I don't have money to learn a skill, I want to just work, God is going to bring you the right opportunities to learn that skill without paying so much or without even paying a dime. And this is me telling you that you need to get doing something. You need to get yourself doing something. Don't just sit and relax. Don't go and work because you want to pay people. Don't go and work because you just want to start making money and start using it on yourself. So know what you're doing and be very intentional about it, particularly if you know that you are coming from a family where nobody is particularly coming for your rescue. Okay, I hope this has helped you. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.